My name is William Barrett Sims, and I'm going to walk you through what I see as are the top 5 mistakes that people just starting out on guitar make. And there might be a bonus one at the end, so stick around. The number one mistake that I see new guitar players play is they play out of tune. I always tell people first and second lessons, make sure you tune your guitar every time you pick it up to play, every single time. We want the guitar to make pretty sounds, and if they aren't in tune, they can't make those pretty sounds, or rockin' sounds or whatever. If it's out of tune, nothing else works. We want nice sounds. If it's out of tune, you can't get that, and you won't be motivated to play. It won't sound right. It won't sound musical. It'll sound very out of tune. So make sure you tune the guitar every single time you play. All right. Number 2 is poor posture. This is it's insidious because if you're not comfortable playing, if you don't like what you hear, and if you're not comfortable in a comfortable position to play, you're fighting the guitar. You're not gonna like doing it. It's a little blocker that keeps you from doing it. So make sure you sit up straight, right? You don't have to be like rod straight. Just sit up straight. Don't you're not laying down on the couch, right? All guitars have this little cutout here at the bottom. That's designed to go on your leg. So when it's on your leg, right, it's balanced. You could do that. Some guitar players, classical guitar players, some jazz players, they'll put it on the other leg. They'll do that. That's totally fine. It's harder with this guitar to do that because it's such a large body guitar, but some people still do it. So that's a really important thing. One of the things you'll find is if you're constantly fighting, you can't get your leg up, to do that. You can get find a stool that has a footrest on it. They also sell these for musicians, guitar players. These little footstools. They're $10 on Amazon, and you can put it down. When I started playing, I didn't have that. I just got stacks of phone books. We don't have stacks of phone books anymore. So just try to get comfortable. Sometimes sometimes you can't do it. Get a guitar strap. A guitar strap works for some people to hold it there. Whatever you need to do, get it where the guitar is balanced and it's comfortable. It's here. Don't have it up here. You shouldn't be holding the guitar with your left hand. There should be no weight on that left hand. Your left hand needs to be free to move. Right? All right. That leads us into the third issue that I see is this left hand position. Right? Don't hold on to the guitar. You're not holding it up. Your left hand should be very free to move up and down the neck. Don't hold it like a baseball bat. Right, so I start off people by telling them to put their thumb back behind the neck of the guitar, right there. You can come up a little bit in here, but you'll move it around as you get better. You'll move that thumb around, depending on what you're doing. But for the most part, I'm doing this, I'm pressing the strings down by pressing it to my thumb, right? If I'm gripping like this, I'm trying to press the strings down into the palm of my hand. That's not going to work. There are some things where you might do that a little bit, but remember, you don't want your hand anchored on the neck of the guitar. All right, so number 4 is one of the things I see that new people do is they strum and they pick super hard, right? So I'm going to do this, so it might be a little loud. So new people, they'll grip onto their pick really hard, they'll grip onto the neck really hard, and they'll go, right? It's loud. Just loosen this hand up, your right hand just loose like you're holding a baby bird, right? You're holding a baby bird. And Just nice and smooth, nice and easy. There are times, right? There's stylistic choices, where we dive into the guitar a little bit. Right, we dive into it a little bit, but that's there's some style in there that we're going for. But to start out, nice and steady, nice and easy. Just loosen that hand up, shake that hand out. All right. So the fifth one, number 5, is and this is coming, is practice. You have to practice. There's no way around it. You're not going to be John Mayer in a weekend. You're not going to be John Mayer, right? You could be. You could be the next John Mayer, right? But the common wisdom, and I don't know if it's common or wise, is that it takes about 10,000 hours to master an instrument. So you shouldn't feel dejected, right? There's mastery and then there's progression, right? There are lots of people that, a month in, they're doing great stuff, right? It's super fun. They have a lot of fun with it. The most important thing is you have fun with it, but you still have to practice. You have to practice like scales. You have to practice your picking technique, chords, repertoire building. You have to practice all of these things so you can enjoy doing it however much you want to enjoy doing it. That means like playing out in your, just playing in your bedroom, that's fun. If that means playing out, at Wembley Stadium in front of 40,000 people, different goals there. But, you have to practice. I always recommend people, you need to get at least 5 minutes a day. It's better to do 5 minutes every day than it is to do, an hour on a Sunday. That consistency builds a lot. So just make sure you just really go through and practice. A good instructor will put together a practice routine for you. You should know every week what you're supposed to be practicing before you come into the next lesson. So when I work with students, I would say like, you need to practice this scale, this drill, you need to practice this song, and then at the start of the next lesson, they demonstrate that they practiced, right? So very defined. And here's your bonus one. This goes to left-hand technique. And this is when you're making chords, when you learn how to make chords, play every note individually and make sure it's clean. Make sure you can hear it cleanly. So when I play, like, for example, a G chord, like every note can be heard. I play C, right? Play D, A minor. Tough for a lot of people, an F, right? Or simplified F. What we see with a lot of new students is they're trying to make these chords and their fingers aren't coming down on top of it. See, my fingers are coming down on top of the strings. I'm using the tips of my fingers here, the tips here. You can actually see the lines in my fingers, right? The tips to make the chord. I'm not using the flat part of my fingers. So if I were to use the flat part of my fingers to make that, so we hear this a lot. So if you hear these dead notes, you hear like buzzing like that, you have a finger position issue, and you need to get your fingers on top. Left hand, short nails. It's the only way it's going to happen. Got to clip those nails short. So you got to get those fingers down and make sure when you're learning these chords, you're playing all the notes. You can hear all the individual notes, and there are no dead notes. That means, again, getting your fingers on top, making sure your fingers behind the fret, like, behind. If I put it on top, it's going to buzz. If I put it too far back, it's going to buzz. It's going to be behind the fret. All right. And if you have any troubles with any of this, or you want more advice or help, I'm available for one-on-one lessons. There's a lot to learn. We just covered a few little things here. There are lots of subtlety and nuances and things that will help you out. But please reach out if you need help. All right. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.